Let's get straight to our top stories that we have lined up for you tonight on India Matters. And thanks, as always, viewer, for being with me on the show. Cyclone Montha, as I bring you this broadcast tonight, has just made landfall. And I will be taking you live in just a moment there to track our reporters as they bring you live reports from exactly where the cyclone has hit. After that, my second story tonight, it's a big day here in the national capital, one of the most polluted cities in the world, where cloud seeding has just taken place as an experiment to try and reduce the amount of pollution in Delhi's air. Has it worked? I will answer that question. And finally, like I said, an acid attack crime in Delhi's capital has turned out to be something else entirely. My hair is still standing on end looking at the details of the story, and I will reveal all of it later on the show tonight. And finally, the Rafale flight for our Rashtrapati is our big story that NDTV broke earlier. The president will be strapping into a Rafale. Vishnu joins me, and I'll be telling you why President Murmu strapping into a Rafale is especially a big deal right now. But let's go straight to our top story tonight, because it is India's biggest story. Cyclone Montha has just made landfall. The landfall is taking place across India's eastern coast. It has hit the Andhra coast already. NDTV has a team tracking the entire east coast at this point of time where the cyclone is making landfall. The entire landfall will take place over a span of about 2 to 3 hours. We are literally there where the impact has taken place. Andhra, Odisha and Tamil Nadu are currently on high cyclone alert. This landfall, like I said, will continue for the next few hours. Massive rescue and relief operations have already taken place. People have been shifted away from the spot. Places like Visakhapatnam, Machilipatnam, etc. The beaches have been completely shut. Trains and flights are cancelled. And Heroes in Orange, our disaster response force personnel, are out in full force, fully prepared right now as the cyclone hits the Indian mainland. I want to show you what it actually looks like on a map. So you get a sense of precisely where Cyclone Montha is at this point of time. We're tracking it live. That is where it's taking place. If you can see, the big low pressure area of this severe cyclonic storm is just off the coast of Machilipatnam, and it is barreling towards the Andhra border at this point of time, where it will be making, it is already making landfall. The epicenter, the eye of the storm, is the green and blue part. The pink area is where the effects of the cyclonic storm are making landfall in the areas you see there on the Andhra and north from there to the Odisha coast. So that's where things are right now. I want to go across to both our reporters live from Amalapuram, which you can see there on that map in Andhra Pradesh. Ashish joins me live from there. Dev Kumar Ghosh is in Malkangiri in Odisha. Ashish, you're in one of the locations where landfall is currently taking place. Tell us what's going on. Are things as bad as expected? What can you share with our viewers?
So, Shiv, I'm in fact in the control of Konasima district. Amlapuram is the district headquarters of Konasima district, and you can see behind me how the cyclone is being tracked by all the officials here. Fire safety officials are here. Different department officials are continuously on touch with the people on ground, getting reports of any kind of damage or any kind of casualty. So far, we haven't heard any kind of damage or casualty report because still the landfall process is on. Once landfall process completes, then these people will move on ground. Remember, 90 to 100, gusting to 110 kilometer wind speed. That's the situation right now during the landfall. And in this time also, if rescue and relief officials, they also can't venture in outside. And that's why everything is being monitored from this particular control room. Continuously, officials are monitoring people on ground. They are getting providing updates to these officials, and these officials are live feeding the update to RTGS, Real-Time Governance Center, which is there in Amaravati, where Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan, as well as several other senior officials, they are continuously monitoring the situation. Like you mentioned, the landfall process has started. Landfall process will take complete, let's say 3 to 4 hours it will take to complete the entire landfall process. Post the landfall, completion of landfall, all the rescue and relief officials, they will venture into those affected areas from where these officials are getting any kind of damage or casualty report. Post that, everyone will provide any kind of assistance. Wherever assistance is required, these guys will send the immediate relief there. Almost over 6,600 personals, they have been evacuated. They have been shifted into different relief
Ashish,
camps.
I'll come back to you. Dev Kumar Ghosh is with me in Malkangiri in Odisha as well. Dev, what are the preparations like over there? The cyclone is making landfall right now in Machilipatnam and other parts of the eastern coast. What can you tell us right now about landfall of Cyclone Montha?
Absolutely, see, as IMD predicted, the landfall will happen around 7, after 7 exactly. Around 7, the landfall process has started at the Andhra Pradesh coastal belt. And IMD also predicted that after hitting the ground, then the cyclone is going to pass through Odisha's Malkangiri. And basically, red alert has been issued in the 8 districts of Odisha, like Malkangiri, Navrangpur, Gajpati, Ganjam, Koraput, Kandhamal, as well as in Kalahandi. But if we talk about Malkangiri, which is going to be mostly affected as stated by IMD, once the cyclone hits the ground, when it is going to pass through the ground. So it takes around 3 to 4 hours after hitting. As Malkangiri is around 200 kilometers from the Kakinada and Machilipatnam. So what IMD expects, heavy to heavy rainfall expected within 3 to 4 hours. Now we can feel gusty winds also blowing. But in the coastal belt of Odisha, it is continuously raining, which we have reported from the early morning today. But if we talk about the 8 districts which are under red alert, government has made a preparatory 128 rescue teams are deployed, 5 NDRF teams, 24 ODRAF teams, 99 fire teams are deployed, and as well as about 40,000 people are also evacuated to shelter homes. As well as if we talk about the post-cyclone, which matters a lot, as Odisha has a past experience, because Odisha faces cyclone every year. And if we talk about Hudud, Fani, Amphan, and numbers of cyclones in which Odisha is #1 in disaster management. Continuously, CM Mohan Sharan Mali, as well as Disaster Management Minister Suresh Pujari is monitoring the situation. All the collectors, all the police officials, as well as the management teams are alerted and continuously monitoring the situation.
Okay, they're monitoring the situation. Ashish, Dev and other reporters are on the ground along the landfall site of Cyclone Montha. We will get you the latest updates as quickly as we can. The harsher impact of the cyclone is likely to take place a little later. Remember that the landfall span could be 3 to 4 hours. So before midnight, it could be at its most intense. I promise you, will get you all those reports live. Now let's switch to our second story, the national capital. Delhi, among the world's top 3 most polluted cities, a metropolis cursed with an annual winter that is essentially genocidal in its toxicity without exaggeration, is finally experimenting. Delhi is finally experimenting with cloud seeding, a phrase whispered like a miracle cure every winter to people who are unlucky enough to live in the Delhi NCR region at this time of year, yet never seen any action. Today, October the 28th, 2025 is a red letter day because cloud seeding, which we've heard about so many times, has finally happened. A Cessna aircraft took off today from Kanpur, loaded with a chemical called silver iodide, loaded into flares. It climbed to 20,000 feet, flew upwind into a deck of moisture-laden clouds over North Delhi's suburbs, and fired its load of these flares that you see in those pictures. This was the act of what is called cloud seeding, viewer. The science of cloud seeding is debated, but it's actually fascinating. Tiny crystals of silver iodide drift into supercooled clouds in the air, acting like artificial ice nuclei. The water vapor freezes around these nuclei, droplets grow heavy, collide and then fall almost as artificially induced rain. In Delhi, what this is expected to do, we don't know if it's going to happen, we're still waiting, is that it's expected to wash down the PM 2.5 particles, stubble smoke and Diwali toxins to the ground. It basically washes the air of all the pollutants and makes them drift away as rainwater. Now, clouds need these nuclei to form ice. Nature uses dust. Cloud seeding uses these silver iodide particles because its crystal shape basically mimics ice. Now, if things go right, and I don't know if they will, this process can boost rain by between 10 to 15%. But Delhi's winter skies are often dry. This is early winter season right now, and the clouds are very shallow and stubborn at this point of time. So why now, you're wondering? Why has it happened today? Well, post-Diwali, the air quality index in Delhi hit 305 here in the national capital. That is in the very poor category to severe. Very, very dangerous to breathe. Now, farm fires are already raging in Punjab and Haryana. They've seen their biggest single-day spike already. But Delhi's BJP-ruled government, facing heat after what has been a luckily relatively clean year thanks to unseasonal rain, has basically greenlit this 3.5 crore rupee pilot project with IIT Kanpur for cloud seeding. Now, just one rain from cloud seeding could drop the AQI by as much as 30%, which is something that sounds like good news, right? A win, even if it's temporary, especially if you live here and are breathing this filthy air. The idea is that if today's experiment here in the national capital works, then it'll be scaled into a larger, long-term kind of plan. What's raining heavily already, however, as you might have already guessed, is the politics. The Aam Aadmi Party, which ruled Delhi till last year, says that the BJP maliciously blocked their 2023 plan to do the exact same cloud seeding that took place today. Experts call it a gimmick. The Met Department says winter clouds are rarely seedable, so why is that aircraft even in the air today? Silver iodide is safe, but what if it fails? What happens if there are floods on the roads? And who pays when pollution rebounds in 48 hours? Like smog towers and the whole odd-even gimmick under the AAP government, is cloud seeding under the BJP just another flashy patch while diesel trucks, crop burning and coal plants go untouched or inadequately touched, I would rather say. One rain isn't really going to fix broken air in Delhi. Let's be very, very clear about that. The real question, are we seeding clouds or is this just a silly rain dance to distract everybody at this point of time? So let me show you for a minute what exactly happened today. This is a timeline of how things actually took place. This is how Delhi's clouds were seeded today. The aircraft that you see on your screen basically took off from Kanpur, not very far from Delhi. It's deep inside Uttar Pradesh. Once it reached an altitude of about 20,000 feet, it fires these flares in the outer Delhi areas. These flares, like I said, contain a chemical called silver iodide. 8 flares with the chemicals are basically shot from the aircraft's launchers. The process takes about 30 minutes while the aircraft is flying through that cloud area. The aircraft then returned, diverted and landed in a place called Meerut, which is just on the outskirts of Delhi. If this is successful, if it rains today and if pollution comes down, the government will basically scale this up and make it a long-term plan. 5 such flights cost 3.5 crore rupees to actually conduct. So one obviously needs to wonder about whether this is going to be a sustainable anti-pollution exercise. Joining me live and exclusive here on India Matters tonight is Manindra Agarwal. He's director of IIT Kanpur, the institution with which the Delhi government has partnered for this experiment. Mr. Agarwal, thank you very much for being with me here on the show. My first question to you, sir, is can you give us a sense of whether today's cloud seeding experiment was successful? The flight took place earlier today. We haven't had an update since then. We haven't seen rain either. What happened, sir?
So we actually did 2 sorties, one in the afternoon, one slightly later in the evening. A total of, I believe, 6 plus 8, 14 flares have been fired. I just want to make one correction. I was listening to you that these flares consist exclusively of silver iodide particles. That is not quite correct. We have our own mixture where the silver iodide content is only about 20%. The rest is a combination of rock salt and common salt.
Okay.
So this, as I said, this was fired. The aircraft has returned to Meerut airfield. There hasn't been any rain so far. So in that sense, it was not completely successful. But unfortunately, the clouds that are present today do not have very high moisture content. I'm told it was only up to 15-20%. So the possibility of causing rain with such low moisture content is not very high. But we hope that at least this trial has given more confidence to our team that we can continue conducting these trials. And we'll again try tomorrow and let's see what happens.
How many more such flights are scheduled, sir, as part of this particular experiment?
So tomorrow we are going to do 2 more flights. And then we'll continue doing as and when we get cloud cover.
So today, what exactly happened, sir? According to the Met Department, was the information faulty? Did the situation change once the aircraft was in the air? What happened? I understand that these things are difficult to get right. It takes a bit of a trial and error. But what may have happened today?
So Met Department, I'm not sure. There have been conflicting reports of the predictions about rain today. Some say there would be rain, some say there won't be. But our team, what it found was that the cloud cover had very little moisture content. And it could be the part over which we flew that had the smaller content. But that's what we found. And so we do not expect any rain to occur today. Hopefully, we'll get something better tomorrow.
Mr. Agarwal, do you think this is a sustainable solution to Delhi's pollution problems, or is it a quick fix? From what I've read of studies, it says about 5 to 15% of rain at best is what cloud seeding can actually induce. Is it a kind of stopgap, sir, or is it something you think can happen in the long term? Because that's what the Delhi government is planning.
Well, it is an SOS solution. That is, when you have a crisis situation, very high pollution, then it is one of the methods one can attempt in order to bring down the pollution. It is not a permanent solution. The permanent solution, of course, is to control the sources of pollution. And ideally, we should reach a point when there is no need for cloud seeding because there isn't any pollution. But until that happens, and it won't happen overnight, but until that happens, this is one tool which is available for reducing pollution to an extent.
Because, the citizens of the national capital, Mr. Agarwal, as you will know, are looking at this dirty air around them and are wondering whether, cloud seeding is going to be some kind of a magic solution and suddenly the air is going to turn clean after this aircraft lands. And obviously it doesn't turn out like that. But this is a pretty expensive exercise.
Yeah, I'm afraid this is no magic bullet to the solution of pollution, but it can help elevate to an extent. Regarding the expense, this cost is somewhat higher because we are flying from Kanpur.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of fixed costs associated with it. But if we do create a setup where we can fly from somewhere near Delhi and amortized over several flights, I think this will come down very substantially.
The other thing which people sort of joke about, Mr. Agarwal, is that if this cloud seeding thing works out, any government that comes in, it's not party specific, but any government that comes in will say, "Arey, theek hai, let's just get some cloud seeding done, Diwali crackers, crop burning, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. we'll just order some cloud seeding to take place and, we'll get some positive readings and short-term benefits will be had. There's also the risk of that. It's not, how this country works, sir.
No, but we can't not do it because of such fears, because any attempt which leads to a reduction of pollution benefits everyone. And even though it is not a permanent solution, it is, even if it rains after some few days, the pollution, because if pollution sources are still there, so pollution will rise up again. But at least it can provide some relief. So
we have just,
what
Mr.
everybody
Agarwal,
needs to keep in mind.
we have just seen the single, largest single-day spike in farm fires coming in from Punjab and Haryana yesterday and today as well. My sense as a journalist is that, when experiments like this are successful, the government will be disincentivized from acting on the source of the main pollution against which such experiments are acting. They'll say, we have these quick fix solutions. We don't really need to worry about the main source of the pollution then.
And that's something that I don't want to venture into. I mean, I am a scientist and I want to limit myself to my domain of expertise. It is up to journalists like you to keep everyone honest.
Okay, Manindra Agarwal, thank you very much. You're giving us a small piece of a news break here on India Matters, which is that today's cloud seeding has not been deemed to be successful. No rain has happened so far, but as with all scientific endeavors, this is an experiment. There will be 2 flights that will take place tomorrow, and there will be more flights after that. Thank you very much. We wish you luck in this experiment, sir, because like you said, any actions against pollution, benefit everyone. So let's go straight to the politicians now. I wanted to get the director of IIT Kanpur, who was behind this entire exercise first, but now let's go to the politicians. Welcoming Somnath Bharati, former cabinet minister and MLA and a spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Dr. Anil Kumar Gupta is spokesperson of the BJP and also a board member of the Central Pollution Control Board. Dr. Gupta, coming to you first. Today's experiment, we've just heard from the man conducting the cloud seeding exercise, has not been successful. No rain has happened, sir, and AQI just before I started this show is at 330. So it did not succeed. Today was a failure.
Yeah, good evening to you and all the viewers. See, it is not a question of success or failure. It is a question of will. We got power in Delhi after 27 years. It was promised by us that in 3 to 5 years, we will remove this air quality problem. Today, the AQI was in the range of 260 to 346. And presently, the live AQI is 211. We are working on 2 strategies. One is the elimination of source. And till the time the source is eliminated, to suppress. The air quality index has 8 parameters. Normally, around the year, the 6 parameters are in controllable mode. But the particular matter PM 2.5 and 10, during this winter season, they lead to flare up in the AQI. And what is the source? Source is the dust particle, the stubble burning, the vehicular pollution. We know that Punjab is not helping us because it's still stubble is in. I'm telling you what we are doing on the sources. We have increased the garbage collection from 10,000 metric ton to 15,000 metric ton. We are increasing the C&D waste processing from 5,000 metric ton to 10,000 metric tons. We are working on hazardous waste. We are removing a lot of dust from the 28,508 kilometers road networks. We are working on the vehicles also. And we are requesting the Punjab government, just a minute, we are requesting the Punjab government.
But sir, but the problem is, but Dr. Gupta, the problem is we have just seen
allow me to complete.
Longest single-day spike in farm fires, sir. Highest single-day spike in farm fires.
Allow me
so
to,
no, nothing is happening with the source of the main pollution.
If you compare the data with the last 10 years, you will see a lot of change, positive change has happened.
Yeah.
Every year, Delhi got the tag of red letter day of the history. AQI crossed 999. And luckily, since February to September, we had an AQI of less than 200. That is the luckiest thing. But we admit that we cannot do these things one day. I told you about the sources. Now come to this artificial land. Till the time the source is removed, what we are doing? We are doing a trial of this artificial land. It is a new technology. We don't say we will complete this. Let's have 5 trials. Let's have the result of this trial. And if the result is successful, to suppress.
Okay, I got your point. I got your point. You're saying that the effort right now is to suppress while you work on the source, even though the BJP, we also reported this in 2023 when the BJP in the opposition blocked the then Aam Aadmi Party government's attempts to, proceed with a cloud seeding plan. I'll come to you on that, but let me get Somnath Bharti in on this.
What measure they have taken? They have not taken even single measure.
Somnath Bharti, your government pushed seeding in 2023. You've pointed a finger at the BJP and said they stopped it then. Why are they trying to flaunt it now? Why are you trashing it now when you tried to do the same thing in 2023?
Steve, thank you for taking me on your show. And I was listening very patiently, Mr. Agarwal also from IIT Kanpur and Dr. Gupta as well. See what Dr. Gupta has not told you, that BJP has also done many things which need to be told to the world. What they did to bring AQI down, they sprinkled water in and around the AQI mechanism, AQI monitoring systems. What they did not tell you, that they did create 2 ponds. They separated Yamuna Ji separate from the main river, and they created an artificial pond to build a perception that Yamuna is clean today. But that was exposed. What Dr. Gupta did not tell you, see, there is a specific, Dr. Gupta, please allow me to read this. There is a tweet from BJP Delhi handle dating 10th of November 2017 saying why showering water from helicopters will not help. Must read this article. There is an article quoted here. Kejriwal ji, please do not run away from your responsibilities by taking illogical and impractical things. So Dr. Gupta, BJP called this artificial rain as illogical and impractical thing.
Allow me to reply.
Back in 17 when we were in power. Number 3, you had promised artificial rain when? Just after Diwali, so that the pollution could be curbed. It didn't happen. Now even today, you have already spent 3.2 crores and nothing has been gained out of it. There is a full-fledged article from 2 professors of IIT Delhi.
Let him answer that specific charge, Mr. Bharti. Let's go one by one. Let's go one by one. Let's answer that specific charge.
Air pollution crisis. So,
Dr. Gupta, the BJP says that cloud seeding doesn't work, blocked it in 2023, spoke against it in 2017, says Somnath Bharti. Respond to that. And you're doing it now.
We were never against any technological. See, Aam Aadmi Party leaders have a habit of giving the wrong data. They have a habit of telling lies. Today also I'm saying it is a trial run. Today also I'm saying it is a trial run.
This tweet is yours. BJP
this technology, sir, I have not interrupted in you. Sir, you are a senior person. I am not interrupting.
Not my tweet, that's your handle.
Listen to me first. Have patience. It is a habit of the Aam Aadmi Party leaders, when they are exposed, they start interrupting. Please, you are a senior person. Now I'm telling you, see, he talked about the sprinklers. Sprinklers were used previously. They talked about the hotspots. We have 39 monitoring stations all over Delhi has the highest number of monitoring stations in the country. And Delhi has an area of roughly 2,000 square kilometers as compared to the other metros, and we have maximum number of monitoring stations. The sprinkling of water is also one of the sources of suppressing. Sprinkling is done all over the city, on the roads, on the streets and everything. And they are saying, I challenge Somnath Bharti ji, take your camera, visit all the 39 monitoring stations. Even if you find a single % wrong in any data center, expose us. But you will always tell the lies. I request you, visit all the 39 monitoring stations. These monitoring stations are the same which were under your government. But don't spread lies. And I am again saying you, we are working on 2 strategies. One is this elimination of source. Second is the suppressing.
Okay, yeah, you made that point.
The
You made that point. So, Somnath Bharti, you can answer Dr.
Let me
Gupta's
respond to
question,
that.
but also take my question. Also take my question because see, you're basically accusing the BJP government in Delhi of stuntbazi, nautanki, quick fixes, etc. The same thing can be said about so many of the things that the Aam Aadmi Party did also. Smog towers, which have proven to be a failure, odd even, turned out to be not really effective at all. It is turned out to be just both of you accusing each other of nautanki, sir.
We have been categorically addressing the issue when we were in power on pollution. We had closed the coal-based, thermal-based power plants. We had introduced many mechanisms by which this dust particles were captured. I was vice chairman of Delhi Jal Board, and I'm aware 80% of Delhi was, the entire sewer network was built by me. Out of 18 places where Delhi gets, Yamuna Ji of Delhi gets dirty by Delhi nalas, there are 18 nalas, 15 we had captured. And one is coming from UP and one is coming from Haryana, both BJP ruled states. So today, if you say so, what we did, I can give you the entire thing, all right? So but what I'm saying, I exposed BJP today. They were trying to discredit, cloud seeding back in 17, back in 23,
But
and
Mr.
today they want to
Bharti,
try it out. And there is an article today. One second,
Mr. Bharti, with your permission, sir.
Why cloud seeding? One second. One second. Why cloud seeding is not a solution to Delhi's air pollution crisis? There is an article by two IT Delhi professors. Okay.
Let me reply.
And it is how costly it is. It's going to cost 15 crores
Let me reply.
for every so-called cloud seeding.
Quick rebut, Dr. Gupta. Quick.
Not work at all.
Shiv,
Dr. Gupta has a rebut. Quickly.
Shiv, it is on record in the Delhi Pollution Control Committee board meeting that smoke tower, wherein 30 crores were spent, is a loss to the nation. The data was manipulated. It is on the record. It is on the record of the Delhi Pollution Control Committee board meeting. The source apportionment study done at ITO is a manipulated one. It is on the record. And you say, I am still saying cloud seeding is a technical issue. We are doing a trial. We have never opposed. And still we don't know whether it will be done successfully or not. It is a trial. You have just given the version of the IT professor. What he is saying, and we agree to that. And another thing, we will always do anything to control this air pollution.
The larger issue.
What they have done, one more thing. You take the data, every year they got a AQI of 900, 9900. This year it has happened. And for last 6 months, the AQI is under control. They should give credit to us. Why don't they give? And
Okay. I don't think, sir, I don't think the politics in our country is such that it is too much to expect. Sir, even on an issue of pollution, it is too much to expect that the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP will agree on something, on the technical aspects of what we're talking about. But Mr. Bharti, your critics will say, who is the Aam Aadmi Party to talk? We are criticizing the BJP government and saying, you have to live up to your promise in the election. You've been given a mandate for anti-pollution activity, etc. We are questioning them on all those issues that you have raised. But your critics will turn around and say, when it comes to handling pollution, your government has been a failure, sir, in Delhi. So therefore, you have no locus standi to, do that, because all you have done is blame the center. Even now, you have pointed a finger at them.
No, we never fussed the AQI data. And what Dr. Gupta was saying, let me remind him.
Sir, I challenge you.
That on the night of Diwali,
Sir, I challenge you.
was crossing 1,000.
Go and check the record
There were
of Delhi
27
Pollution Control
stations
Committee.
which were shut down.
I challenge you on the national
There were
channel.
27
I
stations
challenge you
were
on
shut
the
down.
national channel.
So that the
Please
figures
go
are
and
not
check the
brought
record
to
of
public
DPCC.
notice.
I challenge
So
you.
what they did, they're trying to fudging the data. They're trying to fudge the Yamuna water.
The source apportionment
They
study
created
data
two
was
ponds.
false.
One
It is on the
pond
record. I challenge
was
you.
filled with the
And it
filtered
was
water.
done by the minister,
Filtered water of
ex-minister Gopal
Ganga
Rai.
ji.
It is on the record.
And
I'm challenging you.
They tried to create a
I'm
perception which they
naming
failed this time.
also in the
They
national
were
channel.
caught red-handed.
You go and check the
They
record.
were caught red-handed
Okay.
by my friend Saurabh Bhardwaj. They were caught red-handed. That the poor
Sir, you
Purvanchali
have
was
done
put in the Yamuna water.
Environment Minister
which is
Gopal
so
Rai
dirty.
has two
I will
floors.
only end by saying this.
Honorable Prime Minister. But
Dr. Gupta and Mr. Bharati, I'm out of time.
And was exposed.
I'm out of time, but I will only end by saying this. For the last decade and a half, the people of Delhi who have been experiencing this kind of deathly smog and pollution on an annual basis in winter have been waiting for a solution and have been hoping that the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP will find some kind of bipartisan space, some common cause against pollution for the people of Delhi, NCR and North India against this. That doesn't appear to be the case even now, which is a real pity, because sitting here in the national capital, sir, sitting here in the national capital, I can tell you that whether it is the Aam Aadmi Party government that has done some sprinkling or smog tower, or whether it is the BJP government that has taken this aircraft up in the air, all we pray for is that there is a little bit in a drop in the AQI and all of us can breathe a little better and we don't fall sick. That is the only hope. Whether it is source or whether it is suppression, we want all of the powers that be to come together and battle Delhi's and NCR's pollution. And we hope that happens. Dr. Gupta and Somnath Bharati, thank you very much for being with me on this big story here on India Matters. And now to a truly horrifying story that has taken such an incredible twist. I had to bring it to your notice here on India Matters. On Sunday morning, an acid attack on a 20-year-old woman in Delhi made massive headlines, not just in the national capital, but all across the country, because acid attacks don't happen that often. And this happened outside a college campus right in the national capital. For 24 hours, this story triggered enormous outrage across the media because this woman had allegedly been attacked. There were compelling images of her burn wounds, her damaged, her plea, etc. This became a big deal. But on Monday, that's yesterday, everything changed in this story. It turned out to be nothing like what had been actually reported, and NDTV actually got to the bottom of it. So I will tell you how this incredible story actually fell apart. On Monday morning, a woman, 20 years old, alleged an acid attack. She had injuries. There were pictures of her with bandages on her arms that went viral. But there were some discrepancies in the woman's statements, because the mobile locations of the accused actually exposed the plot. The main accused, the man who a finger was pointed at, who the woman accused of stalking and throwing acid on her, wasn't even in the place of the attack that took place. He was somewhere else entirely in the national capital. In addition to that, CCTV footage captured the alleged victim, the pretend victim, being led there by her sister. The bike mentioned by the woman was not at the location. Forensic tests found that there was no acid of any kind at the location of the alleged attack, and no accused was around Delhi University at the time the pretend victim said she was flung with acid. No acid at the crime scene. The woman was not dropped at college gate by brother as alleged. The woman got off a scooter 200 meters away from the college. So the victim is a Delhi University student. She apparently faked the acid attack story on the behest. Here's where it gets really interesting, viewer. She acted at the behest of her father. We're not going to take the woman's name, but her father's name is Akil Khan. He allegedly had harassed the wife of the accused. The accused's name is Jitendra. He took the help of two other people named Ishan and Aman. This was to frame the accused in this entire attack. And the wife of the accused had complained to the police. The accused's wife worked at Akil Khan's factory, and he wanted to frame the accused to take revenge because she had leveled charges of sexual exploitation against Akil Khan. So Jitendra is one of the accused. He's been framed by the girl at the father's behest. Wife was harassed by the girl's father. Wife worked at Akil's factory. The alleged victim is a DU student who therefore faked an acid attack story at the behest of her father. And how was it projected in the media, not on NDTV, but in the media in general? That it was an acid attack, a stalking case where a helpless DU student was stalked and hunted and then victimized with acid. It wasn't even acid, it was toilet cleaning liquid. Let me bring you NDTV's correspondent Akhil Jamil for more on this. Akil Khan, has he been arrested? What is the police saying at this point of time? Who else have they questioned in this entire case?
Well, Shiv, if you see in this case, what we have been seeing that since the beginning, the so-called victim has been pretending and basically giving different versions to the police. Because if you see initially when that incident took place on Sunday morning, after that, what we have been seeing that the so-called victim's brother, he has said that his sister is very critical when she was taken to a nearby hospital. And then when the Delhi police team recorded the statement of the victim at that point in time, she was absolutely okay. And after that, what we have seen that during the entire investigation process, the Delhi police team has found multiple discrepancies. Because if you see, with one single arrow, Akil Khan basically tried to cover up several cases. If you see the first heinous crime that he committed long back in 2018, he is basically a sexual predator. At that point in time, there was a case which was filed against him. And again, what we have been seeing that since 2021, he was basically exploiting basically an employee in his factory since 2021. For last 3 years, he has been exploiting that woman. And when she came forward, when she basically lodged a police complaint at the Burari police station, after that, what has happened that this very man, Akil Khan, basically threatened her. Apart from that, he basically released some videos of her and sent it to the victim's husband, Jitendra. And after that, he basically staged the entire plot. And he basically, after that, involved his son as well, his daughter as well. And after that, what we have seen that his son basically put out acid on her hands. And after that, what we have seen that Delhi police basically come into the picture. And during the investigation process, they have found out that when that incident took place, at that point in time, the main accused was not at the point. He was in Karol Bagh. So with the help of the CDRs and CCTV footages, the main accused has been basically framed and found out by the Delhi police team.
And may I just say, the woman is 20 years old, not a minor, fully capable of taking her own decisions, but she was still party to this entire charade that her father put up so that she could pretend to be an acid attack victim, all to frame somebody else who had basically leveled sexual harassment charges against him. Incredible twist. I haven't seen one of this kind in recent memory. Akhil Jamil, thank you very much for reporting all those details to us. For us here in the media, this story forces us to reflect just a little bit, because it wasn't NDTV. There are many media that reported this crime as an acid attack, and then when the twist actually took place, they very quickly corrected themselves and said, oh, it wasn't an acid attack, this is what it was. It can happen in the mainstream media when there's a flurry of information, and especially when it comes to crimes against women, the instinct and really the protocol is to believe what happened. But it's also worth thinking about what happens to the accused, what happens to those who the finger is being pointed at, what happens to their lives, what happens even in the 24 hours after those allegations are leveled. Will they get their lives back? Will they be able to fit into society again? It's something worth thinking about. I've got a big story coming up on the other side here on India Matters. Stay with me.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, most stunning true color pro grade camera. Motorola Edge 60 Pro, the true flagship killer.
We unveil NDTV Golf Pro-Am, India's #1 Golf Pro-Am, the course of champions, the conversation of leaders.
What a stellar lineup we have here on the stage of the NDTV World Summit to announce the launch of the NDTV Pro-Am. Arguably India's greatest cricketer, one of India's most distinguished bureaucrats, a top international golfer, and also a top Indian pro at the moment. One administrator who's doing more to lift the profile of Indian golf than anyone has in the recent years.
All the top champions, the Tiger Woods, will all come from India in future.
It's great to be here. Golf is growing across the globe and here in India as well.
Whereas now the opportunities are increasing a lot.
Thank you very much. You're starting golf. We want to thank you.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
I think that's very, very important.
What does the youth of Bihar want in this election? I will dissect and explain.
When it comes to elections, I crunch numbers and tell you what others miss.
Bihar elections, the what, why and how.
I read Bihar politics like no one else.
For over 4 decades now, I have had a ringside view of some of India's biggest elections. This time, I will bring to you the twists and turns of Bihar elections.
Understand the real election dynamics in Bihar. With me on Bihar Battleground.
The ultimate battle for Bihar. NDTV unites the biggest voices, unmissable debates and data discourse. Battleground Bihar on NDTV 24/7.
The most coveted invitation in the Indian corporate golf calendar, where top corporates go head-to-head with the finest professional golfers. An exclusive circuit across multiple cities, aspirational, unforgettable. NDTV Golf Pro-Am, India's #1 golf Pro-Am is here. The course of champions, the conversation of leaders. NDTV Golf Pro-Am, coming soon, stay tuned.
In Bihar, bahut politics hai. The year's election super final. Can Jai Viru storm the palace? Or will Bihar double engine defend? Fierce fight, electric election. Six months after Operation Sindoor, all is quiet on the line of control. But today there was firing across some parts, in the northern parts of the line of control, leading to some stray reports suggesting ceasefire violations or escalations of some kind. People have been talking about whether Operation Sindoor, still being operationally on, is being reflected on the ground. I can categorically tell you there has been no escalation. Firing of small arms continues across the line of control in certain sectors from time to time. That's how things really are on the line of control, but no major escalation. But the big story that NDTV broke earlier today is that tomorrow, 6 months after Operation Sindoor, India's President Draupadi Murmu will be taking a flight in a Rafale fighter. That's right. President Murmu will be strapping into the Indian Air Force's most advanced combat fighter, the Rafale, for what is expected to be a 1-hour flight in the western sector from the Ambala-based squadron. This is the same base from where, remember, Rafale fighters took off and launched missiles that destroyed air bases inside Pakistan during Operation Sindoor, which I covered from the ground. This is actually President Murmu's second fighter flight that takes place tomorrow at about 11:30 in the morning at Ambala. These pictures you see on your screen are of President Murmu in her flight suit, flying in a Sukhoi Su-30 MKI fighter in Tezpur in Assam a couple of years ago in 2023. So this is going to be, tomorrow morning, President Murmu's second flight in a fighter aircraft. The president is 67 years old, and of course there is all the symbolism and messaging that comes into play when the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces flies in a fighter aircraft, quite apart from it being a really, really big honor for the Golden Arrows Squadron, which has the Rafale fighters that will be flying the president herself. So that happens tomorrow in the morning, and we'll be covering it live. Senior Managing Editor and my colleague Vishnu Shom is with me. Vishnu has flown the Rafale, has flown in a Rafale fighter.
As have you.
As have I. So we're both in a sort of good position to talk about this a little bit. But Vishnu, first thoughts, President Murmu's second flight in a fighter jet. Very nice at the Ambala squadron tomorrow.
I think it's important, and it comes at a time when there have been question marks on the Rafale fighter itself and its performance in Op Sindoor. I can tell you it's done tremendously well when it comes to the ground attacks. Rafale fighters and the missiles that they carried, namely the Scalp missile, took out, and on NDTV we broke all those stories with all of those high-resolution images of strikes on Sakar, on Bholari, on Jacobabad, on Noor Khan, on Chaklala, and so many other bases. Many of those would have been struck by the Rafale fighter. What I would be interested in actually seeing is the tail number of the plane, of the Rafale that she flies in. The Pakistanis have been making all sorts of claims on the loss of Rafale fighters. They've gone and listed the numbers, the tail numbers of the jets they believe that they downed. It would be interesting to see if the fighter that she flies on is one of those tail numbers, because if it is, quite obviously the Pakistani claims were rubbish.
So Vishnu, very interesting what you're saying, because the Indian Air Force has been very subtle. They haven't taken on the ludicrous claims that have been made by the Pakistan Air Force, because the Indian Air Force's actions have spoken for themselves. But you're saying that tomorrow there could be possibly some hidden messaging, maybe in the tail number of the aircraft that the president flies.
Well, I'll certainly be watching out for that, Shiv.
Very interesting. But tell us what happens in the air, Vishnu. You were in the air for a whole hour. You had control. We do know that when President Murmu flew with Sukhoi 30, also a fighter that you've flown in, she was given control for a while as well in 2023. What typically happens when the president goes up? Does she get a pre-flight briefing? What takes place when she's in the air in the Rafale?
Well, it's going to be a great experience for her, because the Rafale is absolutely state-of-the-art. In a sense, it's a flying video game. The integration of sensors, along with the multifunction displays and all of the information which she'd be able to actually see, she'd be able to see the weapon system, actually work. That's what the Rafale is all about. Don't expect the president to be pulling very high Gs. That's not really necessary at all.
Yeah.
But this is an integrated weapon system, and she'll be showcased what exactly the Rafale can do.
The Ambala is a frontline base, Vishnu. I don't want to say it, but this is a base from where some of those airstrikes literally must have taken place. What kind of security takes place when a flight of this kind happens? This is as VIP as it gets.
Well, it is entirely protected. There are multiple layers of security over there. So I wouldn't really worry about security at the base. But I think it is a very high-profile visit, and I think the symbolism attached with the President of India flying on the Rafale fighter is important also for another reason. India is negotiating heavily, or will be negotiating heavily, for the acquisition of more than 100 Rafale fighters, and the expectation is that many of them, most of them will be actually manufactured to a large extent here in India. The Rafale will, therefore, if this deal happens, be the present and the future of the Indian Air Force until such time as we get a real number of stealth fighters on board. That's a different story. But the Rafale is absolutely state-of-the-art. The Indian Air Force really believes in this jet. And therefore, if you've got the president flying a couple of months after Op Sindoor, it's out to send a certain message.
I'm hoping personally, Vishnu, that President Murmu, who's flown in the Russian Su-30, tomorrow she's going to be in the French Rafale. I'm hoping that maybe in the next few months she'll strap into a Tejas Mark 1A. Those are going to be entering service as well.
There's something else that I want to look out for. I want to look out and see if she's flown by a woman Rafale pilot, who the Pakistanis claimed had been shot down. She wasn't, because she just won an award. She not an award, she qualified as a flying instructor on the Rafale, which is not easy to do. Shiv, you and I would not become qualified flight instructors. We're just not that good.
Oh, this is amazing. You've given me, I'm not going to sleep tonight, because first of all, I'm going to be thinking about the tail number of that Rafale. Is it going to have some subtle, fact-checking, propaganda-busting messaging of its own? Could the pilot who flies President Murmu be the pilot who Pakistan claimed to have shot down? All of this is going to buzz in our minds. Vishnu and I are going to be live on NDTV tomorrow morning to bring you live coverage of President Murmu's flight in a Rafale fighter. Lots of symbolism, lots of substance. There's a great deal of messaging, and it's very, very important and a huge honor for the Indian Air Force as well. Vishnu, thanks a lot. See you tomorrow on that story. The Rafale will be hosting President Murmu. Well, that's a wrap on India Matters. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, 6 months after Operation Sindoor, this comes as icing on a cake for the Indian Air Force. And what a year it has been. The Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, because that's what the President of India is, to be hosted at a base, you don't get an honor really bigger than that. We don't know who's going to be flying President Murmu, but she will be going through all of the motions. She will be getting a full briefing. She will be getting a security, rescue briefing, etc., like any other pilot would have to undergo. And we will get you all of that coverage. Thanks for watching. The buck stops here with Padmaja's next.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
The front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindoor.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live. Unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France. In Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
What does the youth of Bihar want in this election? I will dissect and explain.
When it comes to elections, I crunch numbers and tell you what others miss.
Bihar elections, the what, why and how.
I read Bihar politics like no one else.
For over 4 decades now, I have had a ringside view of some of India's biggest elections. This time, I will bring to you the twists and turns of Bihar elections.
Understand the real election dynamics in Bihar. With me on Bihar Battleground.
The ultimate battle for Bihar. NDTV unites the biggest voices, unmissable debates and data discourse. Battleground Bihar on NDTV 24/7.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. Stop. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning.
Showcasing the NDTV 24/7 prime time, presented by Schneider Electric, Smart Home Solutions as studio partner.
Good evening and welcome. Thanks very much for tuning in to NDTV 24/7. I'm Padmaja Joshi, and on every story that matters, as always, the buck stops here. Quite an order from the Karnataka High Court which set the record straight for what was almost beginning to seem like a personal mission by the Karnataka government to attack the RSS, or at least to stop them in their tracks. One after the other, a number of measures taken. Their route march stopped. People who were marked out, who were acted against, who were suspended, who were removed from trust simply because they were members of the RSS or even RSS supporters, and finally passing a government order which said that there could not be a gathering of more than 10.